Good morning. I'm Elizabeth. Welcome back to the farm. Today we're going to populate all of these vases and take them into some whitefish restaurants for their tables. And I just thought we could do it together. We're going to use these beautiful, beautiful orange, what are they? Monarch tulips that I grew in the basement. They've been cooling their jets in the refrigerator. These actually became pickable or became to this stage of bloom about 3 days ago. So I pulled them out of their hydroponic trays and put them in this bucket, dry stored them on the bulb. I'll show you in a minute. And they've been in the refrigerator ever since until today when I'm going to process them and we're going to take them into town. So before we start this though, we'll talk about the tulips in a minute. I have to get my handy dandy gloves on. So these are vinyl gloves. I've decided that I have to wear these because I've been wearing my cloth. I don't remember, I have a pair here. My cloth farm gloves, you know, the real pretty cute ones. They're cloth and have a little covering of waterproofness to them. I don't know. But they're not working. And the reason that those particular gloves aren't working is that I have a really terrible case of tulip fingers. It is a thing. As a matter of fact, let me read it to you so that you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a true thing because it's on the internet, because you know anything on the internet's truth. Tulip fingers refers to a type of allergic contact dermatitis, a skin reaction caused by the contact of tulip bulbs or sap, often seen in people who handle tulips for work or pleasure, and is characterized by redness, eczema, or pustules on the fingertips. Pustules, isn't that gross? So I don't have pustules, but I definitely have cracking and uncomfortableness right at the tip of my fingers, which honestly actually kind of gets down into the nail bed. Doesn't affect my nails at all, but it really is uncomfortable. You know, just that. It's like having a paper cut in between your nail and your nail bed. Really uncomfortable. And it just comes from working tulips all the time. So I have tried different gloves that I have already at home and nothing's worked. Everything's gotten through the gloves, penetrated through the gloves. So I'm going to use these vinyl gloves. I just think we got them at Walmart or something, Walgreens, something. Anyway, if these don't work, I'm going to next go to the latex gloves that I have at work. So I am a nurse practitioner and we use gloves all the time. So if these vinyl ones that don't work and I'm still getting the formation of pustules. Look, I'm a nurse and the sound of that word pustules is still kind of gross. Anyway, if I start developing some issues with tulip fingers, then I'm going to go to the type of gloves we use at work. Okay, let's talk about tulips. Enough of the pustules. Let's talk about tulips. So, like I said before, these are stored on the bulb, see, and if you look at them, they don't really look great. They're pretty wimpy. However, once you cut the bulb off and hydrate them, put them in water for a period of time, they'll perk right up again, become kind of crisp and, like I said, perky, and they'll be amazing. So, but to do that, you really need to harvest them and store them at the right stage. This isn't bad. See how tight that tulip bulb is? That's not bad, but this stage is even better. Do you see? You see how tight that is? Especially with these parrot tulips. They will eventually open up to be beautiful. And even at I think I've got one in here to show you, but even at the open blown stage, it's really beautiful. However, once they've opened up a lot, like almost inside out, the vase life is shortened quite a bit. And these need to stay in the vase and be beautiful for a whole week. Here, let me show you. Yeah. Look how tiny that is. It really is perfect for restaurant work as far as table flowers go, the length of it, because I really don't need it that much longer, but it's not really good for anything else but that. So, well, maybe. You might be able to use your imagination and come up with something that would be sellable, like tulips in a jar, something like that, like in a little mason jar. I've done that before. Very, very wonderful. People love them. But for my purposes here, I'm just going to use them for, like I said, for these vases. So see how blown open that is? It's still very beautiful. I don't know if the camera's focusing on that. Still really beautiful, but the vase life of this one would only be maybe 5 days if I cut it and put it in a vase, which would be okay if that's all you needed, but I need a full week worth of beautifulness. So, okay. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm going to typically try to use the smaller of the shorter stemmed ones. and we'll go from there. I need 17. Okay, let's find 17 of them. Oh, wait, let me show you this. Okay, this is tulip topple. Sometimes what'll happen is, and actually if you look at it real carefully, I don't know if y'all can see that. Do you see how the stem right there is all pinched? It really, really is very similar to dampening off. I don't know what causes it exactly. My understanding is that it's a heightened or a really high humidity in the growing area, at least for tulips. And since these are hydroponically grown, keeping the humidity down is a big challenge. Anyway, I might be able to use this for restaurants because we cut it off down here, but this is a pretty short tulip stem, so probably not. I'm going to put this to the side though. I lost count, shoot. Here's another one. See that? Well, I lost count, so we'll just go for it. Okay, so as I might have mentioned in one of my other videos, I am now of the age where there are some things that are physically changed in my ability to do normal things. And one of them is see up close. So I've tried all sorts of bifocals and stuff, and they just don't work very well. I've had my glasses changed a million times, but my best option is just to take them off. So like I said, sometimes when you get a little bit older, taking your glasses off is your better option to see up close instead of using or trying to use bifocals. Hang on. Okay, let's get to work. So when I process tulips for, well, most anything, but almost always for restaurants, cut the bulb, cut these first leaves off because they really do kind of get in the way like this. And then they should fit in the vase perfectly. Oh, let me talk to you a little bit about these vases. These are plastic. We get this from, oh, what's the name of that store? Hang on, it's a super popular store. A lot of people use them. Websterant. I think they're a little bit spendy initially. They're about $3 a piece until you get, unless you get them in bulk, and then they're a little bit cheaper, maybe $1.50 a piece, but they last forever. One of the reasons why I like to use this, you have all sorts of options for color, but I like this dark one because it kind of blends in with any color scheme that your restaurants might be using. And then also, and this is an interesting one, this took me some time to learn, but depending on the restaurant that you're providing flowers for, some restaurants that have a high turnover um, will have to be going in frequently through the course of the day, picking up the vases, moving them around, wiping the tables, putting the vases down, and they get a lot of wear and tear, just bumping and moving and all that. Not like breakable type, but maybe actually. Anyway, a lot of wear and tear. Also, a lot of fingerprints. So as you could imagine, this doesn't show any fingerprints. So like if you accidentally, or if a person accidentally got a little ketchup on it, or I don't know, just a little bit of like just the wear and tear, the everyday activities that go on when you work in a restaurant or anywhere for that matter. This doesn't show any of that. I know that most of the restaurant workers wipe these down in between customers when they wipe the tables off, but at the same time, they still don't show that wear and tear that you get with other vases. The other thing too is they, like I said before, they're almost unbreakable. So if you get somebody who tips it over or drops it, or if a customer were to drop it or whatever, you don't have to worry about breakage. Over time, they do leak, like over a long time. I've had these probably for 5 years, and these are used every day. They do get a little bit of a leak sometimes, develop a leak along this seam here. But typically you can notice that before you even take them in as you're filling them up and getting them populated for the restaurant. You notice that it's leaking there at the bottom, and you just toss it. I've tried. There's no way you can actually fix it, like smooth it out or put some super glue on it or Gorilla Glue. It just doesn't work. I'm not sure why. You think it would, but it doesn't. Anyway, just toss it and get the next one. Anyway, like I said, I've used these for years. They're wonderful. Like I said, the best part of it is that they're plastic and they're not indestructible, but pretty good at that. The other thing too, when it comes time to choosing your flowers, I've never had an issue with this. And actually, I've had restaurant personnel, managers kind of scoff at me because I don't know. I think I don't know why, but they think maybe I'm being too careful. But as a medical provider, I really, really try hard to only use flowers that are edible. Well, they're not edible. They don't always taste great. Like tulips, you can eat these. They don't taste great, but they won't hurt you either. So I try to use flowers that won't hurt you or won't hurt a baby or a kid if they decide to grab one of these and put it in their mouth before their parents can get it, get it possession of the flower. Anyway, just a little tidbit. Like I said, the managers usually think I'm overcautious, but it's just a thought. So that's what I do. Okay. Oh, another thing. Sometimes you might think that you're chopping this off a little bit short, and that is a little bit short, but tulips are amazing in that they will lengthen. They don't really grow. I don't really think that that's true. They don't actually make more tulip cells, but the cells themselves elongate. That's a science thing. Anyway, they just get long in the vase. So they might start off a little bit shorter like this, but eventually, by the time the weekend rolls around, they will be nice and long and be elegant. So you don't have to worry about cutting them too short. That's pretty short. Might have to add another one to that one. Oops, let's put that one over there. All right, there we go. So I'll just put water in these, pack them up, and we'll take them into Whitefish to the restaurants. Okay, thanks for joining me. Oh, if you have any questions or any comments or anything, put them in the comment section below. I'll answer everything just as soon as I get these off to the restaurant. Okay, we'll see you again.